Hello friends, my name is Asslam Shaikh, your host for this evening, and I'm welcoming you on behalf of Swiss Education Foundation, India's largest and only platform to promote education in Switzerland. This is our 39th webinar series and broadcasted live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Every Friday, we aim to bring in the valuable speakers to add to your insights and knowledge something good about the global education. And today, we are focusing on to Switzerland. So let's begin this session. And today's topic is exploring Switzerland as a safe, premium, and a career-oriented study destinations. And in order to discuss this topic, we have got some eminent speakers with us today. And let me do the honor of introducing them. So let me have our first speaker in the room, Mr. Andrew. Hello, Andrew.
Hello, Asslam. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for letting me join you.
Okay, Mr. Andrew is a sales and marketing manager of Business and Hotel Management School, BHMS. Andrew takes care of South Asia, East Asia, and he is responsible for student interaction and promotions, especially in India market. We welcome you, Andrew, and I'll come back to you soon.
Fantastic.
Thank you. Let's welcome the next speaker. Hi, Pooja.
Hi, Asslam.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. Let me do the honor of introducing you, Pooja Ram Jain. She is the head of Business Development India of Swiss Education Group. And Pooja is responsible for all SEG Group colleges, namely SHMS, Caesarets, HIM, and Culinary Arts Academy. I'll come back to you, Pooja.
Thank you for that, Asslam.
Okay, so let's move to our next speaker and let's welcome Mr. Nick Collis. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Asslam. Hi, everyone.
Thank you very much for your time, Nick. Nick is the head of sales and recruitment of EU Business School, one of the very famous business schools having multiple campuses in Europe. And Nick is responsible for marketing and student recruitment activities, especially in India.
That's right.
I'll come back to you, Nick. Let's welcome our next speaker, Mr. Nishant Suri. Hello, Nishant.
Hello, Asslam.
Hi, Nishant is a hospitality and training manager for HTMI in Switzerland. Nishant has worked in the past with Marriott Group of Hotels and also on the project with HTMI in the African group. Thank you, Nishant, for joining us today.
Likewise, pleasure to be here.
And let me do the honor of introducing another speaker from Switzerland, Ms. Greta Frey. Hello, Greta.
Hello, Asslam. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me today. It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Greta, for joining us again. And it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Greta is the Director of International Business Development of IMI. It's a very beautiful school in the Lucerne, Switzerland. And Greta leads the school BDA team responsible for student recruitment, international development, and alumni relations. I'll come back to you, Greta, soon.
Thank you.
Okay, and let's welcome Dhruv. Hello, Dhruv.
Hi, Asslam. Hi, everyone.
Thank you very much for your time, Dhruv, for joining us. Let me quickly do your introduction. Dhruv is the regional recruitment advisor for Glion Institute of Higher Education. Dhruv manages the enrollment for world-leading hospitality and culinary schools, including Glion, Le Roche, and École de Case. Thank you, Dhruv, for joining us.
Thanks for the introduction. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. So friends, we are going ahead with this particular program, and I'm sure that you're watching us who are really having an interest or passion towards hospitality industry or hospitality education, or maybe you want to make a career through your business degrees, or maybe you want to be a celebrity chef. And this is where you find the right options available for you. Viewers, for you, if you have got any query or question for any of the speakers, just put it into the comment box of your respective social media channel through which you are watching us, and we'll be more than happy if we have a time to address those questions quickly. Let me also welcome our Professor Elgokan Rajgopalan. Sir, thank you very much for watching our show. Professor Elgokan is a very senior professor of aeronautical engineering in one of the best universities in Chennai. So we welcome you, sir. Thank you for your interest in our program. And let's move ahead with this program. And friends, before I could bring in the speakers into the program, I've got some very interesting information to share with you. Talking about hospitality, business, or culinary, and if you put together this as a one industry, India has got very interesting figures to share with you. And let me have those figures out of the research which we have done to put it in front of you. India is going to be among the top 5 business hospitality market by 2030. That's as per the Business Travel magazine. And they're expected to increase the turnover by 3 times to USD $30 million. So that's where the India is moving towards the hospitality and business. Also, hospitality is among the top 10 sectors which has attracted the highest FDI in the recent Indian economy. And that's something which tells you a lot about the progression of this industry. In spite of these figures, India is still facing the deficiency of 50,000 rooms as on date, as we are talking about, in spite of having all the brands and the hotels which are available in this industry. So with these figures, let's move ahead and let's invite Mr. Andrew in the room. And let's understand from Andrew, who represents Business and Hotel Management School of Lausanne. Andrew, can you just share some data on whenever we see from Indian point of view, and when we look at a global map to go abroad for higher education, especially in the field of hospitality, Switzerland comes out as a winner proposal for any students who wants to look at it. So would you like to share that why Switzerland has been considered as a birthplace for hospitality?
I guess there's a lot of different real reasons why people consider it to be the birthplace, but the reality is Switzerland has been for many, many years the destination for, I dread to say it as publicly as this, but the rich and famous. Royalty, movie stars, sports stars for the last 200 to 300 years literally have all escaped their summer joys in different parts of the world to get to Switzerland to enjoy the slopes, the mountains, the time away. And the reality is, because of that level of money coming into the country and the desire for high quality service, I'd say hospitality and maybe even more broadly, the service sector industry developed very strict rules and regulations in Switzerland to maintain the profit that was coming into the country. So Switzerland really has been the birthplace of a structured form of hospitality. And I guess that's where the education of hospitality in Switzerland comes to play.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that this is a very crucial information for students to understand, and parents also to look at Switzerland very differently so far as the hospitality is concerned as compared to other countries. Thank you, Andrew. And I'll come back to you for the next question. And let's move to Pooja. Pooja, you are representing one of the largest private hospitality groups who have got the privilege of having one of the best brands available to offer to our students and parents. So would you like to introduce the SEG group to our students?
Sure, Asslam. It's my privilege to be working with Swiss Education Group. And like you very rightly said, we are one of the largest global hospitality leaders when it comes to hospitality education, with over 40 years of experience in not just hospitality management, but also culinary arts education. And we have the benefit of having 4 schools spread across 6 campuses, offering a very diverse programs, right from business management to finance to entrepreneurship, digital, AI and hospitality to culinary. I mean, you name it. And because of the advantage of 4 schools that we have this huge array of programs that we offer. We have a large alumni base of over 24,000, alumni as our students, with over 100 industry partners. So Swiss Education Group, like you said, is very renowned and a global leader when it comes to hospitality education.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And certainly it is a very interesting place to look at for the higher education from students' point of view. Thank you, Pooja.
Absolutely.
And I'll connect you with you. Okay, so we discuss about hospitality, but friends, Switzerland is also equally famous, and it has produced one of the best business leaders in the world. In fact, the first modern Bangalore-based international airport the project was headed by a Swiss graduate, a Swiss business leader. So let's connect something with the business education when we talk about Switzerland. Let's have Nick in the room. Nick, first of all, thank you for joining us. And we would like to understand that we also been hearing about Swiss financial system is very strong, and many people are trusting Switzerland for their safe investment. And of course, you have got one of the best banks, one of the best organizations who are coming from Switzerland. When you talk about pharmaceutical company or Nestle as a company, take us through this point of that how Switzerland can be the interesting destination for students, also for the business degrees.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Asslam. I've got a unique position of really speaking about business in this session. It's true that even Switzerland itself as a brand has been incredibly successful at aligning itself with prestige and quality. And just like my fellow panelists have said, Switzerland has been outstanding in that sense in terms of positioning itself as a brand. Now, when it comes to understanding why that is the case, you need to understand that Switzerland is a leader in many areas. You mentioned Nestle, you mentioned the financial sector. What is really important is that Switzerland has ranked number one in the world for the last 4, 5, 6 years in one category. And it's not I wouldn't normally ask a question to people who can't respond, but I'd be interested if people knew, the viewers knew which ranking it was number one in. And the answer is actually innovation. So even though 75% of the economy is focused on the tertiary service sector industry, you've got the majority of companies which are small and medium-sized enterprises, and there's an incredible amount of energy and investment in terms of startups and incubation centers. And so that's what's really exciting for young students coming into the country. There's really great opportunity in terms of innovation.
Wow. Yes, that's so true. And I can't agree more with these points, because even the Swiss Next, the very Swiss representative office in India, they talks about a lot of innovative projects on which Switzerland is working in. And there are many Indian companies who are tied up with Swiss companies in the field of research and innovation. And there are a lot of students, as per the Swiss Embassy data, who every year join, especially for the research-based programs. Thank you, Nick. So I think it's a very important point for the students to know. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's move to another school which has got a very beautiful location. And Nishant, whenever I visit HTMI, I just get reminded of Shah Rukh Khan, beautiful movies and scenes, and this is where your school has nestled around. So we would like to know more about the unique points which your institute is offering about for the culinary courses. And there are lots of young students who wants to be tomorrow's chef, and they follow a lot of shows on the televisions, and now that's a picking up in India market. So can you please share some more details about how your institute is very focused on culinary?
Of course. Now, what our culinary diplomas that are provided, firstly, they're accredited with the World Association of Chef Societies. Firstly, I think economy comes to mind when it comes to Switzerland, right? So we're one of the institutes that has much of the economical price range, and is led by a world champion instructor, Chef Andreas Kurfürst, who's have a lifelong honorary vice presidency for the Emirates Culinary Guild. He has over 25 years worth of experience in the culinary industry itself, which spans from Europe to Middle East, which really helps the students to gauge as to what the industry is really about. And it's a really unique combination of both the European culinary arts and the European baking and pastry arts program that we have. So this provides students not only just the understanding of kitchen operations, but which area they would really like to specialize in and gauge in that, specialize particularly in that area through this program.
Right. In fact, a lot of students are nowadays inquiring about a bachelor's program in culinary, and you are one of the few institutes who offer bachelor program in culinary with a very full-fledged kitchen experience. And what you rightly said is the economy of scale, because many students are looking for affordability as well as a high quality, and this is where I think HTMI suits the students' requirement.
That is absolutely correct.
Yeah,
I think that's where the Indian market really comes in, that price range wise. So yeah, perfect product, I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you, Nishant. Okay, let's move to another school, Greta. Greta, thank you very much for joining us today again. And it's also been always a pleasure to visit your campus, a very beautiful lakeside campus. And I've had an opportunity to meet a lot of Indian students as well, having a very positive feedback sharing which we've already shared with our students back here. And what I've learned, something which is very unique about PPD, and I just wanted to know and learn more from the students' point of view, that how your school is very different in terms of your teaching methodology, which you use at your campus.
Yeah. So thank you for having me, first of all, again. What is important is that our programs are actually combining the best of the Swiss practical experience, as well as also the British academic excellence. IMI partners with 2 top universities in the UK, Manchester Met University for over 25 years for our business and hospitality programs, and with Oxford Brookes for the Culinary Arts program. And personal and professional development is actually quite an important element, because in hospitality, it's not just so much what you learn in the book, but it's really a lot about these additional skills, these interpersonal skills, communication skills, negotiation, crisis management, etc., which of course will come in very handy when the student is progressing with their career. So we are a very small school ourselves compared to perhaps some other schools. We offer individual attention. And in addition, we have guests from the industry, or guest lecturers rather, from the industry, who come in and share their experience with the students. So the former vice president, for example, of human resources for Fairmont and Swissôtel Hotels, they teach on our program. We have consultants, we have entrepreneurs, etc. So our faculty, combined with the industry connections, is what makes it, I think, very interesting.
That's so true, and I think that's very valid point, where the students are looking for best of both the worlds, so they get a British degree while studying in Switzerland, and that's a win-win situation for the students. Thank you, Greta, for this piece of information, and we will have you in the frame as we can. We'll come back to you again, and let me have Dhruv in the frame. Dhruv, whenever we talk about Glion, it's always we talk about the luxury, the premiumness, which Swiss also is known for in the world for hospitality. And the matter of fact that it ranks 3rd in the world, that also creates a lot of buzz for the students to look out for something, not to settle down for anything mediocre, but they want the best of best in the industry. And Nick very interestingly talk about the innovations and research, and I believe that you have done a lot of research, and your school have done a lot of research and innovation within the field of hospitality, and that is the probably reason why Glion has come up with very interesting programs, which we'll discuss later. But what we want to learn from you is that why Glion and how Glion position itself among the other hospitality schools in the industry.
Great question, Asslam. Thanks for that. So I think primarily in terms of how the industry has also been evolving, and we're of course seeing now in terms of the world today, we're seeing how the industry is evolving from a more traditional sector when we speak of hospitality to more experienced economy, where we are seeing the advent of automation, technology, all of those particular areas coming in. And Glion has been at the forefront of leading and training and upskilling our students across these areas. We offer, and at the core of course, our focus is student development. So we have a lot of different resources that we provide our students, right from a personalized cohorts, where our classrooms are limited to 35 students, offering a one-on-one interaction, to a dedicated career development and industry placement team to assist them with structuring their careers, their ambitions, and of course offering them a one-on-one support with all that they're planning on their career. It's all there to support students. We have 3 iconic campuses as well across the most influential destinations around the world, across Switzerland and the UK. So that in part also helps students, of course, to develop their careers and of course take that and leapfrog in the career they are aiming for.
Absolutely. Well. Thank you very much, Dhruv. That's really informative for the students' point of view to have a look at differently at Glion as an institute for studying in Switzerland. And once I'll have in the room, and I'll add our first speaker, Andrew. Andrew, we would like to also just share that the top 3 reasons if somebody wants to join your institute, a business and hotel management school. And it's a very interesting that you have got both the words business and hotel combined together within the school name. So we would like to know the top 3 reasons why students should look at your institute.
It's hard to break it down to just 3, really, but I guess to be fair, I mean, today you're looking very heavily at sponsoring Switzerland and supporting Switzerland, and really all the universities that you're talking to today are pretty good places. They're all going to give you a very good degree, and to be honest, most of them now represent very good value for money, ourselves included. So I won't go into the yes, we're doing great scholarships and the price is wonderful and all that sort of stuff. I think more importantly, for people to understand the difference between the schools, we're fairly fortunate to be based in the centre of the city, so students can still maintain a fairly social or active social life, even with social distancing and everything going on. Basically, they can go out and have a drink or have a coffee and still be able to walk home, which I think is important for students, especially students abroad in a new environment. The internships and jobs that are offered, I think that's a very important part of what we do. And I won't say we're more successful than any of the other schools, but at this point in time, we've got internships lined up basically for all of our students right through till September, which I believe is pretty difficult to do in Switzerland at the moment. So we're very proud of that fact. But I think mostly, having been a teacher myself, the thing that is outstanding that I think parents respond to the most is when you meet a BHMS student who's gone through the process of the internship and the jobs, you see somebody that leaves the school that is bigger and better than when they arrived. And parents are often surprised at the graduation ceremony to see their shy little teenage kid standing up on stage beside professors and others giving a professional speech. And they can talk to movie stars, film stars, anybody in the world. They seem not intimidated. And it's this personal and professional development that our teachers spend a fair bit of time in the background improving the way our students are perceived in social circumstances. So I think that's the area that probably is, in my opinion, the most different from BHMS and the others.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you very much for educating us about your institutes. And I'm sure the parents and students who value these particular values would like to connect with you and with your school. On this points, let's move to another school. Let's have Pooja in the room. Pooja, whenever I visit SHMS, in fact, my staff also visited SHMS. They said that this is the most beautiful campus that they've ever visited. We would like to know more about why SHMS is so popular among the hospitality schools in the world.
I guess it's very rightly the most popular, Asslam, and as you rightly said, it's actually quite an interesting blend because to be housed or hosted in one of the most historic core palaces as your background and a classroom in itself is, a very aspirational. And the beauty is when we combine that with contemporary and modern methodologies of teaching. I think we are privileged to be the first hospitality school to be given the prestigious recognition of being Apple Distinguished Schools, which is awarded to schools which are very big on innovation and which use technology to nurture and enhance learning, the 21st century skills. So it's kind of a very beautiful blend of traditional, housed in a palace, and yet with all the modern teachings. Not to say that we are accredited by the best university of UK. We are ranked number 5 in the world and number 1 when it comes to recognition of excellence. So all this and of course the array of choices that students have, right from a bachelor's to multiple master's program and masters in science, and we also have blended master's program that makes it a very attractive place to be in.
I'm sure the students are very excited after listening this information from you, and this really gives a lot of interesting points for the students to look at your institute very differently. Thank you, Pooja. Let's have Nick in the room. Nick, many students and especially many parents always look at Switzerland. They talk about Geneva, and the people connect with that part of the world, the French part of the world, with the business and being the business capital of the world. How your school position itself being the business school in Switzerland, and what kind of programs do you offer to undergrad students?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Asslam. It's true. As I said earlier, you go abroad, Switzerland is almost synonymous with hospitality. And it's important as well that Switzerland has a mandate to kind of challenge that conception, because we would all agree it's prestigious. If you look at where Switzerland really excels, it's in the gap between, in terms of GD, the wealth of individuals in the country compared to other European countries there's a stark difference. And at EU Business School, what we have is a network across 3 countries. We've been around since 1973, and the owners of the business school have really sought to create a network for our students, which has a big impact on them. So we're based in Geneva. We have a downtown campus, really close to the financial sector, not far from the UN, all the international organizations. So that gives you a kind of insight into where we focus in terms of our specializations. Students choosing Geneva will look at finance, a really specialized degree throughout the 3 years. Montreux, obviously, it's got the hospitality scene there, but we've got a wonderful boutique campus down by the lake there as well. But I would say what's unique with EU Business School is really the access to outstanding leaders. And I would invite anyone watching this, this webinar, to visit our homepage and just scroll down and look through the list of leaders we've had recently come and speak to the students. We've had the top people from Nestle. Yesterday, we had a conference with the former CEO of Unilever, obviously linked to Procter & Gamble. And these are the kind of leaders that our students need to rub shoulders with. And I'll join Andrew in saying, I think what's really important for students is this transformative experience. That's what we aim to do, to build the soft skills and connect people with industry leaders. So that's where EU Business School excels. And I think in Switzerland itself, it's a smaller environment. It's a micro environment in the sense. So you get really highly personalized attention, and you get outstanding opportunities to link with industry.
Absolutely. Students, if you're looking for a very a small size of classroom, very attentive business schools, which really helps you to get good connects with the industry. In fact, I've been following up some of your this business leader series, and you have got some of the best speakers from the industry coming up. And I'm sure that I'm accepting to have a lot from some of the speakers, which I had an opportunity to learn. Thank you for sharing those links. So students, if you're looking for the business schools and multiple campus approach right in the capital of the world, this is the best options available for you. Okay, on this point, let's move to Nishan. Nishan, let's understand something which is unique about your hospitality school.
Of course. So in terms of our hospitality school, HTMI, so we're the only Swiss hotel school that is located in the Swiss biosphere, or UNESCO biosphere, located in Sornberg. As you clearly had mentioned, that it's how a Shaikh Khan movie is. So that's very dreamy as a location, and that's quite a, I would say, a very friendly environment that the place is. And we have got many campuses in the world. So top tourism destinations, of course, Switzerland being one, Singapore, Dubai, among many others. We're ranked in the top 10 in terms of employer reputation for global QS ranking for hospitality, ranked top 20 overall for global QS ranking in terms of hospitality. And our fee structure starts, as I said, very economically. So it starts at the very low range of 26,500 Swiss francs, which includes the meals and the accommodations for the students. Plus, our bachelor's program is a dual award. So it's firstly a BSc Honors in International Hospitality Management, which is awarded by the Ulster University. It's a UK university, ranked 1 in hospitality as well. And our BA and the students also get a BA degree in International Hospitality and Events Management. So in that way, students will have not only the specialization in terms of hospitality, but they would also understand several other aspects throughout their course of the 3 years that they are going to study there. So
right,
giving them a very wholesome experience of one stop for hospitality.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. And certainly the students who would want to get away from the city's hustling, bustling life, and you want to get into the education system surrounded by in the lap of nature. So this would be one of the ideal places for the students to choose for. Thank you, Nishant. And on the next point, let's have Greta. Greta, we would like to understand the top 3 reasons why your institute is famous among the students for hospitality program.
Great. Yes. In fact, I think for someone who wants to choose hospitality, there's so much choice that sometimes it's very difficult to be able, of course, to decide which is the better school for you. And it's not that one school is bad or one school is good. Actually, we're all good. It's just a matter of finding which one is the better fit, in a sense, for the students applying. So, I mean, we are, as I mentioned earlier, a small school. We are ranked number 11 in the world on the QS World Rankings for Hospitality Education. We are probably the only one that is 100% Swiss owned. We offer partnerships with top UK universities from the first year, and not just the top up at the final semester. Also, we are offering at the moment the Swiss qualification as well. So we have just been accredited by the Swiss federal government for the Diplom HF, which is our Swiss degree program. So students can choose whether to follow the Swiss or the British curriculum. And also we have the different specializations. So students can choose either hotel and tourism, hotel and events, entrepreneurship, which is very popular in India, also the global business management and the global marketing management, as well as also the culinary arts program. So lots in a sense that we have to offer despite being a small school. And I think most importantly is our campus location. We are located just outside the beautiful city of Asslam. Students have the lake and the mountain view literally from their balconies. Very safe location. I'm sure there are a lot of parents listening in, which of course is maybe one of the main choices also for choosing Switzerland, that it is such a safe place to be. So I would say those are the main elements that students can consider about IMI.
Yes. So friends, as rightly said by Nishant and Greta, both the institutes are highly ranked, and at the same time they are affordable in terms of the affordability point of view as compared to the other institutes. And this is one of the points which would distinguish this institute from other. Apart from that, I would put IMI is not that far from the city life, and that's not right in the center of city life. So you have got still a different distinction, to choose from the location point of view. So if you want to go right in the city center, and then you have got other schools which are available, including BHMS from the similar background. But if you're looking for a little bit away from the city, but not that far, that's where Greta Schools IMI comes into picture. Thank you, Greta, for this information. And let's move to Dhruv. Dhruv, you have a very interesting, I'll just have someone out so that I can have Dhruv inside. Okay. Dhruv, thank you. You have got something very interesting specialization which your school has got to offer. And I believe that that's something which I've not seen in any of the hospitality schools offering across the world as well. Many times we talk about the programs related to hospitality, and it has been assumed that since the hotels is already in operation, in function, and then how do you contribute to the functioning of the hotel? But very seldomly it has been talked about, what about before hotel has been constructed? So we talk about real estate management related to hospitality. We talk about hospitality development and finance. And I believe that this is very niche specialization which your school is offering. And I'm very excited to hear more about this program.
Sure. So talking of the specialization that you mentioned, it's International Hotel Development and Finance. We have that as a specialization in our undergraduate programs, our flagship Bachelor's in Business Administration. As well, we have a dedicated master's, a very specialized master's called Master's in Finance, Real Estate, Hotel Development. I'll take the postgraduate program first, and I'll give you a bit of an insight into it. So it's for the viewers. The finance specialization focused in real estate, which is one of the biggest asset classes at the moment. It's a $13 billion asset class, and it's of course poised to grow even by leaps beyond that. And this is, students, of course, by pursuing a course like this, are not just understanding it from the more functionary point of view of finance, but also applying that learning in the industry. The industries around hotel development as well as finance. So the overarching themes of a course like the Masters would include areas focus into asset management, banking. They will, they're basically grooming themselves to evaluate portfolios, to understand more about new concepts like real estate investment trust, which is at its very nascent in India, and there's a big opportunity, of course, for it to grow by leaps in India. but also it's a great concept if they want to become chartered surveyors or work in the core finance industry within the hospitality spectrum. So there's a lot that they can do. On the undergraduate side, of course, students get to analyze critical success factors that are there in asset management tools, which are, of course, relevant in real estate projects as well. So it's basically encapsulation, a great blend of functionary like finance with the core of the industries that we're seeing, real estate and the hotel development context in a nutshell. And that's how it is designed.
Indeed. I'm sure that it would be very interesting for many of the parents who are into real estate business and they want to, there are many real estate businesses who wants to get into hospitality industry. And this could be a very interesting blend for the kids to follow in order to take care of the business and take it to the next level. I think it's a very, very important point which you raised. Thank you, Dhruv, for this information. Let's quickly move to Andrew. Andrew, we just discuss about, it's very interesting to see in the school name itself, business and hospitality. And I've seen that a lot of hospitality schools have evolved over this period of time in Switzerland, where earlier they used to be pure core hospitality programs oriented schools, but they have evolved to hospitality and business schools. So where does this name and what's the genesis of having a business and hospitality schools named together?
How in depth to go about the name, I'm not quite sure, but the reality again here is that the B in the BHMS is a bright red color on purpose to stand out, because we really now consider ourselves to be a business management school that uses hotels to underpin the teaching of business. Obviously, there's a number of rules and laws in Switzerland, which means being involved in the hospitality education industry means that we can do some wonderful things for our students in terms of paid internships, and that's very important. So raw business students may not get that opportunity, for example, to do proper paid internships in Switzerland as easily. But one of the biggest presentations and one of the biggest classes that I do around in many countries is the opening line is, what is a hotel? And in real terms, I sit around and get 45, 50 different answers from a bunch of very smart children in a lot of different classes. And eventually somebody puts their hand up and says it's a real estate investment. And we go, yep, there you go, which Dhruv's just gone through in great detail and explained why that's of value. But look, the reality is nobody works in hospitality because they love it and they just want to be friendly to people. You know, I'm a friendly guy. I like talking to people too, but I work because I like money. And I'm guessing most of your students like money, and probably their parents do too. So if you listen to that sort of old adage, the ROI, return on investment thing, most of our students, we would hope, have paid mum and dad back within 12 months of graduation. And that's a genuine wish of ours. And we see it probably in 80 to 90% of circumstances where students get jobs after they've graduated. And to be honest, I'd say more than half of our students, even if they've graduated in a hospitality field, within 2 years are often working in different business areas.
Right.
Hospitality is a launch pad into real business, and it's been proven that way for many, many years now.
So I'll take it the hospitality is a launch pad to the different industries and different sectors for you to move in. Thank you, Andrew. Let's come back to Pooja. Pooja, I would rather combine all the last two questions together. So just in the interest of time, so if you can just quickly take us through the specialization which you got to offer as an institute, which is very unique into the resort, spa, event management, design management. These SHMS specializations are very intriguing for many students, looking for bachelor degree. So would you like to talk about this and also combine it with the internship and placements?
Sure, Asslam. And as you very correctly said, we take a lot of pride in our unique specializations right from the bachelor's, because we believe in being relevant and evolving with times and, constantly revising our curriculum as the need of the hour. So right from a bachelor's, we have three pathways, like you said, into hospitality, hospitality event and design management. And moving on to our master's program, which is also into, very a new, I wouldn't say it's a new concept for India, but relatively new when we also talk about pathways into digital value creation, into hospitality of design management and wellness management program, because this whole wellness is sort of not new, but definitely growing in India. And we
True.
want to bank on that and give students an insight into theory as well as practical knowledge on all of these. Also keeping in mind the COVID and the post new normal world that's going to be, we've introduced our blended master's program wherein the executives and students can learn and work at their pace, but not to cheat them out of the experience of being in Switzerland. They just need to come to Switzerland for 3 weeks and finish their learning with us. And I know due to paucity of time, I know I am going to rush and come and connect and talk a little about our internships. We do, the moment a student joins us, we have individual career guidance counselors working with them. They have a paid internship. And the biggest advantage, though we are a 3-year course in bachelor's, we have 2 years of internship, which means essentially when a student graduates from our school, they have 3 years of education and 1 year of practical working experience. And
Right.
this is done through our various industry connects and the fact that we have an international recruitment forum, which we host twice a year with over 200 industry partners. And just to give you quick statistics, we hosted our first virtual one due to COVID this year, where we had 120 recruiters from 30 countries who participated, with over
Wow.
600 job opportunities for our students. And as we speak, 1,200 of our students were interviewed and were given job opportunities. So with STG, given that we are such a big group with 4 campuses, we are a mini world, a mini Switzerland world school in ourselves. So
Right.
I hope I've answered your question within the time given.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for being so crisp and also sharp with your figures and details. And I'm sure it's very interesting for students to know that how they can be supported for their international careers also towards the end of the education. Thank you, Pooja. Let's move to Nick. Nick, we would like to understand from you is that how your school, and what you already touched upon this point, is that you make industry interaction while students are studying at business schools, because most of the business schools, they claim to be a good business schools, but in the end, they usually get just a piece of degree, and that's it, while spending the rest of the time in the classroom. So how your interaction programs work with industry? Sorry, Nick, you are on mute.
Thanks, Asslam.
Yeah.
I think once again it's good to look at figures. It's important to look at the credentials of all the schools here and to see their track record. I think that's important. We were established in 1973. We've got 27,000 alumni around the world now. We've actually released a really nice booklet which can be downloaded from our website again. It's just showcasing the different industries, the different success stories we have. But what I would say once again is very important is to understand firstly the location of where you study, and then secondly what that school will give you. And I think we've got really outstanding faculty, people that are working in the industry. Most of them are entrepreneurs and have extensive experience across different countries. We also have a job fair in the month of February. This fair is a really exciting one, which we host at our Barcelona campus. So our Swiss students sometimes go there to experience Spain, to experience our network, which is bigger. But bringing the focus back to Switzerland, I think what we really aim to do once again is to expose students to industry. So every year we've teamed up with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Geneva. We've brought in leaders in different sectors and different think tanks, and they literally we did it on leadership last year, and the students during the coffee breaks got to speak to these different industry leaders. They connect with them on LinkedIn afterwards, and many of them find internships and job opportunities through this micro networking. When it comes to sports management, for example, Switzerland, you wouldn't think of Switzerland as sports necessarily, but you've got UEFA, you've got FIFA. We actually run a fair in the month of May, which is focused on sports management. 40 of our students across the group get to go to Lausanne to this, it's called I Work in Sports. You can find it online as well. And you get interviewed by UEFA or FIFA. There are a lot of top organizations there as well. So I think that's the one thing. And then having spoken to our careers person recently, she told me, we've had students find internships at the International Labour Organization, the World Health Organization. These are areas where we do have connections now. We've had former students there, but once again, it's the network.
Right.
Switzerland provides a really prestigious and a unique opportunity for students to network.
Absolutely, and it's really, really interesting to see that how students can network through the business programs which your school has got to offer with this different government and big private organizations, or even the sports leagues. Thank you, Nick, for this piece of information. Let's quickly move to Nishant. Nishant, we would like to understand that how HTMI helps the students to find out the career opportunities, what they're aiming for towards the end of the course.
Of course. So what we have is a very strong network and a growing placement cell at HTMI, so both in Switzerland and internationally. So 90% of our students are placed in hotel brands, or luxury hotel brands, I would say, or companies for that matter, such as Taj Hotels, Marriott, Hilton, you name it, we have connections. In terms of our students placed, yes, they get paid internships for up to 6 months in Switzerland itself, where they can earn up to 2,000 Swiss francs and upwards, of course. And this is approximately in Indian currency 1.5 lakh Indian rupees, which is of great value, because it's not only just provides a great kickstart to the career, but it also, like Andrew mentioned earlier, it's a part of the return on investment that the students' parents have made towards the education. And of course, we help students in the first week itself on their arrival, not only just give them an orientation about hospitality, but also help them, guide them through the CV writing process, setting up a LinkedIn profile, motivational letter setup. There's just something that will put them in a better position in terms of their job hunt and in terms of their internship. So we have a career center as well, which is dedicated particularly for this purpose, for finding out internships for students based on what their interest is and what their strong points are. Our programs also include an entrepreneurial project. So like many students, especially in India, they want to run their own restaurants when they come back, or they want to have their own hotels. So we have entrepreneurial projects that are part of the program, which helps them to understand how to set up their own venture, or if that is their aim in the future.
Okay, that's nice. That's good to hear that you have centers to help the students out for internships as well as for the career. Let's move to Greta. Greta, you have had a lot of success stories about your students passing out over 20 years and making a mark in the business or the hospitality industry. So would you like to share some data or some facts about that?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, this is actually something for me that is really, close to heart, because when I joined IMI in 2009, I was actually hired to develop the international section of the career and internships department. I had moved to Switzerland from London, where I was a principal consultant for a recruitment company. I placed general managers and finance people and engineers and everything. I mean, as Andrew said earlier, I mean, a hotel is so many things. So really the development of the students is such an important part of what we do. We have this internships and careers office, like all the other schools. We have the career days offered, etc. But I think maybe what some students want to hear are some concrete, perhaps examples of what students have ended up doing after gaining a bachelor's or a master's from one of the Swiss hotel schools. So for instance, I can give you an example of, let's say, Kushank. He's with some Indian examples, perhaps. So Kushank studied at IMI for a master's in 2009. I placed him at that time in the US for a J1 training visa, and he did not basically look back since then. So he was so good that they extended his visa, and he's currently the managing director of a real estate company managing hotels in the US. We then have, for example, Jitesh, who returned home because the family business is hotels. So he's running his own hotel in India, but he's also the founder of an e-commerce online platform also in India. We have also someone like Sanoj, for example. Sanoj was with us in 2009 also. When I joined, he was at that point looking for a position, and he was really much into bars and mixology and wine and spirit cocktails, etc. So I helped him get a placement in the Seychelles at that time with Constance Resorts, top quality resort company. And he has since then moved to the Maldives. He has moved to Bangkok, and he's currently working in Barbados with a top 5-star brand. And then maybe other opportunities, for example, like Natasha she's actually from Zimbabwe. but she just currently got certified as an insurance provider in the US. So not hospitality, insurance company basically, or insurance, but dealing with people, which is obviously what hospitality really is. And maybe another example of Nina, for example, from Germany, who is the financial controller currently at Hugo Boss, which is a fashion brand. I can give you so many examples. I've been lucky really to get in contact with so many students, and this is, I think, actually something that maybe is very important for students looking to join any university. I mean, speak to the alumni, speak to the current students. So they can give you really their real experience, basically on the campus, and can help the students really to take a decision on which university is the best for them.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Greta, for giving such interesting information about the alumni and their success stories. Let's move to Dhruv. Dhruv, just combining last two questions. So what kind of personalized service you offer to students, and how do you help the students to find their careers through your expanded network of alumni and the companies you work with?
Okay, great question. So Asslam, how it really works in terms of careers is really dependent, of course, primarily on what student ambitions are. And we take that as the foremost focus when students arrive. They have a dedicated CDIP, which is a career development industry placement team, to counsel, consult, help them with personal branding exercise, and of course, chart out their career in terms of the support that they can offer, whether it is CV support or support with exercises, maybe mock interviews, whatever it is. I think that's of course where our support system lies. But I think when you're looking at careers, it's also, you need to look at it on a multi-pronged way, in the sense that it's not just about doing one thing and that only. That can of course help in activating the right kind of an opportunity or the right kind of professional job that students might be looking at, because our students and our alumni community is truly global. We have more than 12,000 alumni across the globe, and each of them, of course, have the Glion spirit, something that is core to our focus into student development. And whilst I say student development, what I essentially want to mean is that it's an amalgamation of the academic experience that students have, but also the kind of leadership skills, grooming, and professional engagement that they can also gain from. Because ultimately, students are also looking to progress from their current state of where they are in their career to something that they envision maybe in the next 5 year or 10-year tenure. So I think those things are very important. And each of our courses, whether it's the undergraduate flagship BBA that we have, or the masters, the different unique masters programs that we offer, all of them inculcate business field trips where they can go behind the scenes of key luxury retail giants like LVMH, to give you an example, one of the biggest conglomerates. Companies focus into real estate sector, companies focus into event management, sports management, those kind of areas. Watchmaking companies which Switzerland is known for, chocolates, cheese, gastronomy. There's so many restaurants that are part of the network. I think what students really gain from is also internship, which is also a core element as part of both our courses, undergraduate and postgraduate. So I think an amalgamation of all of this, coupled with a strong networking focus, can definitely, help students to kind of hack the kind of careers that they're looking at, and set the roadmap for career development in that order. So yeah, I think those are the things I would pretty much say, and also echo what our other esteemed panelists have mentioned. I think it's a bit of a lot of things when it comes to charting that career that students are really envisioning for themselves.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dhruv. So friends, you have seen that almost all the institutes are proud of their extended alumni network, which they have. And this is the good sign, and that's a positive sign about Switzerland as a country, and not we are just talking about one institute, but talking as a destination. It is very unique. It's in its own sense. you can't compare, and I proudly say that you can't compare Switzerland with any other country in the world when it comes to hospitality business and culinary program, because they have got something very unique to offer. And what are those unique points? I'm sure that you must have understood. But if you want to know more in detail, and I know that we have got a short of time, we can't take up all the questions, but if you want to know more, then that's an easy way out. You just join us on 19th of Tuesday, our education fair, which is going to happen between 1 p.m. and 6 p.m. And here's the link in front of you. Just click on this link, register yourself, and you will be having an opportunity to spend a good amount of time with you, your parents, while at the comfort from your house, to discuss these experts, institutes, representatives, to chart out your career plan and find out that what could be the right options available for you. So with this, I would like to conclude the session. I know that I'm skipping one question asked by Alvin. Alvin, you asked about the scholarship. I'm really afraid that we don't have enough time to talk about, but I can just tell you that scholarship could be as low as 1,000 francs to as high as 15% or 20% on your tuition fees, depending upon the intake and the program you're joining. And all these institutes have got a very generous scholarship and some special COVID scholarship on the table for you to grab. And I would suggest you that just click on this link, register yourself, and have enough time to discuss about the scholarships and other eligibility criteria which you can explore during our education fair. So with this, I would like to thank all the speakers who took out time from the different part of the world to participate in this program. Thank you everyone for your time, for your insight, which you share with our students. And those who have watched live or otherwise, this recorded video would be available, and we'll be again promoting it to our audiences so that they can watch it at their pace later on. So thank you very much, friends, and students, parents, also some of the faculties who joined us to watch this program. And I can see a lot of people joining it from LinkedIn. I'm sorry I couldn't take everyone's name, but really thank you very much for your time for watching this program. If you have any question, meantime, you can see the telephone number 99870 on your screen, which you can contact us, or you can email us at info@swisseducation.com, and our able counselor will be able to help you. My name is Asslam Shaikh, the ambassador of Swiss Education Foundation, signing off with a promise to come back again next Friday sharp at 5 p.m. with another interesting topic and with some very talented speakers to enlighten us onto the career pathways. Until then, thank you very much for watching the show. Stay safe and stay excited.
Thank you, Aslam.